So I was thinking of what just happened and over there. Was it in Utah? About Charlie Kirk was murdered. You know, I always think everybody's always trying to figure out their way to live life, their way to journey through this life. People who think differently from us. That's the nice thing about people. We all think differently. We all have different ideas. And I was thinking, why would you kill him, you know? Out of all the things you could do, why would you do that? You know? Although this guy is frustrated on. Alright, there we go. And I was thinking, why would you kill him? Why would you martyr him essentially? When you martyr somebody, when you kill somebody, they just basically killed someone's Martin Luther King. That's what just happened. Someone out there was influenced by this guy, and now you killed him. So what comes next, right? What does that person do? They take those views more to heart. Think of when Martin Luther King died. Both the left and the right were outraged. Think of what happened when Jesus died, right? Let's just put Jesus as an example. Now, I'm not saying he's Jesus or anything. Let's put him as an example. When Jesus died, Christianity spread. His disciples took it, not more seriously, but it was now their turn. You know, so now it was Charlie Kirk's turn. It was Charlie Kirk's turn, and now it's everybody else's turn. Everybody else who believed in what he was saying. You know, that's the thing. They basically think of when you kill a roach or when you kill a spider. The last thing that happens is all its eggs, they blow up open and everybody just tries to survive. Those ideas will blow up open and try to survive. That spider egg will blow up and spread everywhere. All those ideas, all they did was spread those ideas further. They basically martyred someone's Martin Luther King. You know, maybe, and now there's a vacuum, so somebody's gonna take up that space and they're gonna believe something. You know, a bit. I don't know if that person. Maybe they're radicalized. Maybe they're not. But now somebody has to take up that vacuum. You know, that's the interesting thing. With Andrew Tate, basically think of him as a Charlie Kirk. If Andrew Tate at his prime would have been murdered, don't you think all those things he believed in, you'd think they would just die, but they wouldn't. People who believed in them, they would have essentially embraced them even more. So what happens with this guy, Charlie Kirk? Oh, instead, Andrew Tate now he's a fool. Everybody looks at him and he looks like a total moron. You know, of his own doing. He's been put to shame by other people. The things he's said, the things he's done, contradictory to what he speaks. You know. So why not just let somebody make a fool of themselves? You know. You know, this guy was 31. He's pretty young, if you ask me. I don't think I've lived my life. This guy, you know, I don't think I've lived my life yet. I don't think that I've got it. I'm still learning. Still reading. I'm still understanding, comprehending how other people think. You know, people change. That's the thing. People change. I used to be a very different person than I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. You know, every single one is a different person. The person from 10 years ago would have disagreed most likely with the person I am now. The person from 5 years ago was more open-minded. I would have listened, you know. But now today I learned that listening is the key. Why would you murder your opponent? It doesn't make sense. You know, you challenge them, you challenge their ideas, you challenge who they are, and you destroy those ideas. You don't destroy the man, you destroy the ideas, you destroy the beliefs with your own action, with your own ideas. It's very easy to put somebody to shame if you want it. You know, look at various debaters, you know, like let's say Al Sharpton, you know, when he debates, he gets bodied by his opponents, you know. He has nothing that much good to say. When you hear, let's say, Stephen Fry debate, you know, you don't attack his person. You don't attack him, man, for being gay. You tell him, hey, man, I don't like the way you're living, and this is why. And then you make you appeal to logic. You appeal to reason, essentially. You don't appeal to emotions. That's the easiest way to lose. So they thought they won the battle, but this person's gonna get caught. It's a shame, really, because things like that should see what's happening in Indonesia, where they beat up the prime minister, they burned the politicians' homes, they raid the parliament, you know, all that. It's because those people have no other choice. They have no other legal means. They can't even exhaust their legal means. There are none. Here we have the legal means to change things. We could, for instance, apply for Congress. We could run for Congress. We could run for mayor. We could start groups, you know, like he started his own group, Turning Point. We could start our own groups, you know, slowly grow them, make them big, make them legit, you know. Instead, they kill him. A very lazy thing to do, very lazy way to change the world. In a place where you have options, killing should be the last one, always. The same thing we do to criminals. We give them a fair trial, we give them a chance to change, we incarcerate them, we punish them. The last thing we do is kill them, the last thing. And even then, we give them a fair trial. You didn't get a fair trial. The public sees it, you didn't get a fair trial. So what happens now? You know? You radicalize, you killed someone's Martin Luther King, you killed somebody's, you know, hero, to say the least. For at least the young people, all those young people that saw him, what do you think they think? You know, do you think they'll become somebody in the future? Do you think they'll influence somebody else in the future? Maybe, maybe not. To their benefit, let's hope they it's up to them, honestly. At that point, it's up to them, and it's just an embarrassment. The people. There's a lot of people saying, I don't care. You should care. You should care. You should definitely care. This is an attack on free speech. This is essentially saying this is an open threat. If anybody who I disagree with dare speak on this, they will die. That's an open threat. It's an enemy of free speech. You can't have free speech. This is why we have our Second Amendment, to protect our free speech, not from each other, but from the government. That's the thing, you know. Oh, he was killed because he supports guns. He doesn't support guns. He supports the liberty to protect rights, essentially. Because unfortunately, our rights are represented in the Second Amendment. If the Second Amendment goes, if we have no way to back up our rights, then what's the point, you know? What's the point of having the rights, you know? If we can't enforce them. For instance, what use are the laws if we can't enforce the laws? There's no point in the laws. Really, there isn't. You know? And so the Second Amendment allows us, the citizens, to enforce the rule of the land, the Constitution. That's basically what it represents. Thank you, everybody.